Welcome everyone to Christian Hannah Horror. Here it is, guys. I've had requests for it. What do you think about this Friday the 13th series, Christian? Well, here we go. You're about to get it. We're going to do the Friday the 13th series review. That's right. We're going from 1 all the way down to probably the remake. We'll see. But don't worry, that's not all that I've got coming in for you guys. We've got some toy reviews or figure reviews coming up. We've got new movie reviews, horror news. We got a lot coming, so I hope you guys are ready because Christian Horror's got a lot in store for you guys. But obviously, if we're gonna start off a Friday the 13th series review, we got to start off with Friday the 13th, 1980. You know, there's not really a whole lot to say about this film because it's all been said. And, there's not really a much negative to say about this film besides this, in my humble opinion. I don't think it's a very, very well made film, but that's not taking any merit away from Friday the 13th. I think it's a legendary film in its own right because of what it created and what it started. Whether people want to call Jason a copycat of Michael Myers or a ripoff, the bottom line is this: when you open that door for Halloween and you give candy out to those kids, one of them's gonna have, or if not right in front of you, you'll see one walking in the street. One of them's gonna have a hockey mask on. Jason is one of the most legendary characters in movie history. If you say Jason, people know who you are talking about, and we have this film to thank for that. Obviously, number one, we have Pamela Voorhees as the killer, and I think it's a great story. This woman was pushed over the edge when she lost her son. His counselors weren't taking care of the kids, and this Jason kid was more or less picked on for not being normal. He's bullied. It's a story that a lot of people can relate to. A lot of people that may not be the norm. A lot of people that may not fit in. And if you think about it from the parent standpoint, what if you had a kid? What if you had a kid and that kid wasn't exactly normal? And that kid wasn't treated right. And that kid was supposed to be under a watchful eye, and he wasn't. And your son, in this case, he drowns. Supposed to be being watched. What would that do to you as a parent? Believe it or not, I can see people going over the edge because of this and wanting to cause harm to people. So as weird as it sounds, Friday the 13th is almost a relatable movie. I could be sounding like a total weirdo right now to some people. I'm not a parent. But I almost understand where Pamela Voorhees could have been coming from, and that's where the real terror in this movie comes into place for me. It's the bond of family, and it's the love for a son that drove this woman over the edge. Now, this movie obviously was all the special makeup effects were done by the Savini crew, which I think was only 2 people in this movie. He didn't have his crew yet, the legendary Savini crew that he created, but this movie was a circus in its own way. Every kill had Tom Savini's stamp on it. It was all back in the day. I can imagine it was the most legendary thing on the planet to see the work that Tom Savini did. It's just one of those movies that did it come out of the popularity for Halloween? Well, yeah, that's been documented many times. But I don't really see it as a ripoff. Despite the fact that that's what they tried to do. I still don't see it as a ripoff. You know, the first Friday the 13th film had a lot of elements to it that Halloween didn't. But as far as cinematic history, Friday the 13th is one of the most popular films in film franchises. So, we'll finish this review off. As we said, it's not really much to say about this film. It's all been said. We all know the legacy of Friday the 13th. I will say this, though. Is it my favorite in the series? I don't think so. And I think that's okay. You know, I know a lot of Halloween fans might be upset when you say, well, I don't think the first Halloween is the best. And I can understand why some people get upset with that because it's such a legendary film. But Friday the 13th, it doesn't seem like a lot of people like the first one the most because of the Jason character being so enduring and so legendary. And I think that's okay. But we all love and respect Friday the 13th because of what it opened the door for. You got to remember, people, if this movie wasn't made, there was no Jason, you know? And I know you're all like, well, I know that, but let that sink in for a second. There would be no Jason if it wasn't for this movie about this mother. You know, and now when you watch it back, you really appreciate it. So, what do you guys think about Friday the 13th? Is it your favorite film of the series? Is it your least favorite? Any interesting facts you might be able to tell me I don't know about the making of this film? I'm always wanting to learn something new. But as we've talked about earlier, we got a lot more stuff coming along with this series review. I always love hearing from you guys and wanting to know what you guys think. So, you know, drop a comment below. Let's talk about Friday the 13th. I'll reply back to every comment I get. Or I try to, anyway. This is Christian Hannah Horror, guys. Be ready for part 2 coming up. And let me know what your favorite movie is. That way I can, I'll throw your name in the video. Tell me what you like about it, and I'll discuss that in the video. So, all right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. This is Christian Hannah Horror, and thank you, Sean Cunningham. Thank you, Victor Miller, for creating Friday the 13th and creating one of the greatest series in horror history. Bye, guys.